Hello everyone, welcome to Snippet 28. Can you believe it, we're on 28. So this was our Snippet 27, and when I was doing 27 I asked you to create another one that was exactly the same while using the same technique. And what you can see, what I've done with mine is on this one I added more pink paint, and on that one it's more turquoisey. It's got touches of pink because I used all the same colours, it's just that on this one there's more pink. Okay, so you need to create that so that you've got exactly the same background. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is add a little touch of stamping. So I'm going to use my Bulb Gazette stamp. Love this stamp set 907. And I'm going to use my VersaFine Clair Morning Mist. And I'm just going to ink the stamp with a touch of ink. Not much ink at all. You can see I'm just using an area of the stamp. And I'm just going to press very lightly. I'm not going to sort of press too hard. And I'm using the second generation print as well. So I'm using that VersaFine Clair Morning Mist. I'm pressing the ink on there, but what I'm doing is I'm actually sort of laying the stamp on there and sort of kissing it and just lifting it up. I'm hardly touching it, and then I'm using the second generation just so that you can see there's nothing too overpowering about the stamping. So let's just add a little bit more. And what that does by just using a touch and by just kissing the stamp on the background is it creates a lighter stamping. It means that you don't overpower your background. And what happens is the stamping appears in the background and these birds look like they're actually a little bit further up. And then what I've done is I've cut a circle to go on the top and done exactly the same technique. Now I know some of you like the size of the circle, so the size of the circle is 2 3/4 inches. So that's 2 3/4 inches. Now, if you haven't got a circle die, just cut around something. Now I've actually cut, using my die cut circles, I've actually cut a circle, a black circle to go over the top so that that sort of pops against the background. Now, if you haven't got that, you can just go around your circle with your Posca pen. Just go around the circle and create a faux background. Or you can use your black ink. Whoops. Or you can create your faux background using your black pen. Obviously you won't slip off like I did, not that it matters anyway, but if you want to, you can add that just so that you've got the faux background. I'm going to add this here on the top. So what I'm going to do is just add a little bit more of the stamping. So I'm just going to take a little bit of the grey again, and I'm just going to touch that with a little bit of the stamping. Just adding little touches. So I've literally got first generation, second generation and third generation. So it's absolutely fine. And then what I'm going to do is just take my black Posca pen and just add, or try to add, a little bit of black splatters, because then where I've just slipped with my Posca pen, it doesn't matter so much. Also, if you add your black before you do your birds, then if you make a mistake, it's not a problem. I don't worry about things like that. So what I'm going to do then is add this over the top, like so. But what I'm just thinking is, yes, I know. So I'm going to add this here. I just need to get it in the right place just to make sure that it sits nicely. And of course, you know what, I don't know why I put it in place, because you know I'm going to lift it up, put it back down again. I'm hilarious. Right, just, and I know the one thing I didn't do was get sort of a wording stamp. So I'm not going to press this down at the moment because I don't know whether it's in the right place. So I'm not pressing it down at the moment. That's it. So place that there. Those birds look lovely. Place that there. And then we'll add our black. And it will go slightly over the edge. I quite like it when things, you know, you don't always have to have things confined to the space. I just add that around the top. And then what I'm going to do, let's move this out of the way. Obviously I won't find the right one straight away, because that's me all over. Let me see if I can find one. Just going to use an index clip. You know, what you need to do is when you're doing a 15-minute video is to start looking for things, Tracy. Not. I'm just going to add an index clip. And you can tell Tracy's added this the wrong way. Do you know why that is? That index clip's bent. I was thinking, I'm sure they're not bent like that. Yeah, the index clip was bent. There we go. Just add that index clip just to hide my little, there we go. Just love how that pops against that background. I just think it looks lovely. I'm just going to add a little bit of the white. And make sure some hits that index clip, because you want it to look like it's part of the project. Let's just wipe up our splatters. And then you can decide if we want to add another bird, but we can decide that afterwards. Right. You see what I'm on it. Let me tell you where I'm going now. Let's grab a piece of card. Not that piece, Tracy, any piece, but not that piece. So what I'm doing now is I'm checking the time that I've got ready, and I'm just looking at my birds. So what I'm thinking is, let's just grab that one, and I'm thinking take my Versa Fine Clair, take the black ink and just put it on my blending tool or cut and dry foam, and I'm just going to add the black just so that it's nice and black. There we go. Make sure your hands are clean. And I'm just going to decide whether I want to add the black beard, and I'll just explain why. Wrong scissors. Right. Let's just, now that ink's going to be quite wet. I'm just trying to get away with not drying at the moment. And what I'm doing is I'm leaving a white border, and I'll tell you where my thinking's going. So I'm just leaving a tiny white border. Okay. So I just want to look at this. So this is what I've got at the moment, and I'm just wondering whether, oh yes, yes, and I'll tell you why. Because, no, don't want any, I can nearly put dimension on then as if I was making a card. And the reason I've added the black bird is it means that then the black circle that I've added, even though it's going to a black journal, is not quite so random. You know, it doesn't mean that that black makes it pop, and obviously the black will go with my black journal. But if I add a touch of this black, it sort of brings in the circle as if it was meant to be there, and that makes me happier. And then because, you know, it needs to go in with the rest of the project, I'm just going to add a few white splatters. And then I've got this piece of washi spare, which is from my Washi hash 44, which is a round. And I just love some of the words on here. There's the word simplicity. So I'm just going to tear, and I have to say, this washi tape, because it's more papery, definitely tears a lot easier because it's got less plastic in, and that's always a good thing. I never waste any washi, and this is why I'm not wasting this piece that I left off. And I love that it can be just a little bit more random with the tearing. Just try not to touch that. I'm just trying not to touch the bird. Let me just... Now what I want to show you is there's actually the sentiment on there that says beauty in simplicity. But what I'm trying to show you here is you don't have to have that sentiment as beauty and simplicity. You can just tear it up and just add the words separately. You don't have to have it as it is. I'm quite enjoying myself. There we go. Let's just move this all out of the way because you can't see a thing. Let's bring in that journal. And just so you can see, when you put it against the black, it all makes sense. So that is Snippet 28. If you wanted, you could add a little flower if you want, but I'm trying not to be... with the snippets, I'm trying not to do exactly the same as I would in a card. So in a card, I might add a flower and more layers. These are about being more pared back, not necessarily adding as many layers. And I love the fact that these two pages, what they show is that depending on what paint you add and how you add it, gives you a totally different look. So here, unbeknownst to me, because you add the paint quite randomly, I've added more turquoise here. That wasn't planned, it's just how it happened. And here I added more pink, doing exactly the same technique, but look, you get two different looks. And what that shows you, what you can take from this is, when you look through your journal again, you can take from the fact that you can use the same technique, but look at the different looks you get, just because with your own hand you add a little bit more pink, or you add a little bit more turquoise, or you add a little bit more yellow. So there might be a favourite colour of yours and you add more of that colour, and it just changes the look completely. So we'll just bring those pages up just so that you can see those. So that's 27 and this is 28. So I hope you enjoyed that. The other thing you can do is you can add some white stamping if you want onto your bird, but I was quite happy with that the way it was, especially with the white outline. But if you wish, you could add some white stamping as well. So I hope you enjoyed Snippet 28. Love to all, and I'll see you all soon. Bye for now.